Welcome, everyone. Let's dive right in. There's been some big buzz around headlines like USA bombs Iran, escalation to WW3, and a live stream featuring retired Majos General Dennis Laich.
Absolutely, it's stirring up a lot of discussion. The notion that a bombing could ignite something as massive as World War III is certainly alarming.
So the clip really highlights a scenario, right? The video, streamed live on AU 398, shows Dennis Leitch, a retired major general with over 35 years in the army, sharing his views on the US military actions and, the broader implications.
Right? And he's not just throwing around dramatic claims. He has some deep rooted critiques, especially against the military draft system and the class inequality it breeds.
Exactly. It's like he argues that the youth, particularly from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, are being, sacrificed for profit, which is pretty unsettling.
Yeah, that kind of perspective forces us to rethink the costs of military engagements and who truly bears those burdens.
And it's interesting because his background, having served for, more than 35 years, gives him a certain authority on these matters. It's like he's seen firsthand how military policies impact not just the strategy, but
Right.
everyday lives.
It does raise the question, though. If the US takes such drastic action, bombing Iran for instance, what ripple effects could that have on global stability?
That's the core worry. The headline screams escalation, suggesting a kind of domino effect that might, actually push us closer to a larger, even disastrous conflict like WW3.
Yep, exactly. But, isn't it a bit of an overstatement sometimes? I mean, history shows that while such actions are dangerous, the jump to full scale global war isn't always, immediate.
That's a fair critique. And Leich himself is careful. He's not exactly inciting panic. He's warning us about the broader trends in our military industrial approach. It's like, saying leave the powder dry before lighting the fuse, right?
I get that. True. But there's also the narrative of endless conflict. He seems to suggest that such military decisions, like bombing Iran, are part of a long standing pattern of sacrificing certain groups.
Absolutely. He talks about what he calls a kind of systemic inequality, the idea that poor kids and patriots are pitted against each other. It's like he's exposing an inherent flaw in the system.
Right on. And his book, Skin in the Game, Poor Kids and Patriots, further underlines that narrative. It really digs into how policy and military engagement often hit those who are least equipped to handle them.
Yeah, it's like his message is that there's this vicious cycle. The military industrial complex pushes these conflicts, and the fallout disproportionately affects, the most vulnerable.
Exactly. But then there's the sensationalism in the headlines. USA bombs Iran, escalation to WW3. It sounds like clickbait. Do you think that kind of framing helps or hinders the public's understanding?
Well, I mean, headlines are designed to grab attention, right? But sometimes they over dramatize situations. It can, lead to unnecessary panic rather than informed
Yeah,
debate.
I totally agree. Exactly. And while Leich's insights are rooted in his extensive military experience, the sensational framing might overshadow some of the critical points he raises about systemic issues.
Yeah, it creates this tension between the dramatic narrative of a potential WW3 escalation and the more nuanced critique of military policy. It's kind of like mixing dynamite with, a sophisticated argument.
That's a vivid way to put it. Speaking of nuanced arguments, how do you see his critique of the military draft system fitting into the larger debate on military engagements?
That's a good point. His critique highlights that the current system is more about profit and power than about genuinely defending national interests. It's like the draft isn't really about patriotism so much as it is about, serving the interests of the elite.
Yeah, definitely. There's a stark contrast, isn't there, between the idea of patriotism and the reality of who gets sent to fight these wars. It's almost like a hidden class warfare.
Exactly. A battle not just on the front lines, but a battle against a system that perpetuates inequality. And his perspective forces us to ask, what's the true cost of military might?
Absolutely. And from your perspective, does the live stream capture that tension effectively? I mean, given how the online world thrives on hot takes and polarizing narratives?
It does, in a way. The live stream format really brings immediacy to these discussions. You have experts like Laich who provide historical context and, well, incisive critiques all in real time.
Yeah, that's what makes live streams so powerful. But then, don't you think the environment of platforms like YouTube, with its algorithms and product tags thrown in, might dilute the seriousness of such discussions?
That's a valid challenge. On one hand, you've got these deep, meaningful conversations. On the other, you have the commercial layer, from merch tags to product recommendations. It can, sometimes feel like the message gets a little lost in the noise.
Definitely something to consider. So, in a way, while the core issues here are very serious, like the potential escalation to WW3 and the systemic inequities, the medium itself can sometimes counteract the gravity of the message.
Right. It's sort of like trying to discuss a critical global issue while wearing a flashy neon shirt. The substance is there, but the presentation might lead some viewers to take it less seriously than intended.
Yeah, that's a neat analogy. And it seems the conversation around this topic is only going to heat up as more events unfold, especially with ongoing tensions in the Middle East.
Absolutely. Every new action, every statement from political or military leaders adds another layer of complexity. It's like watching a high stakes chess game. Every move could have monumental implications.
It's a gripping scenario for sure. And what about the role of social media in shaping our perceptions here? It almost feels like the combination of live streams, sensational headlines, and expert opinions creates a sort of echo chamber.
Yes, exactly. Social media is amplifying these narratives, sometimes to the detriment of balanced analysis. You get these rapid fire opinions, and it's easy to lose sight of the nuance behind the strategies and policies being discussed.
Right, it's a double-edged sword. Given all that, how should a discerning viewer or listener approach topics like these?
Well, I think it's important to dig a little deeper beyond the provocative headlines, to look at the context, the historical underpinnings, and also to critically assess the medium itself. It's like not just accepting what sounds dramatic, but asking what's really going on behind that curtain.
Yep, exactly. And that means considering multiple sources, checking the historical record, and really, questioning how narrative and profits intersect.
Totally. The discussion we're having, whether it's about possible escalations, military industrial policies, or the role of media, all emphasize the need for a careful, informed perspective.
Yep, that's the takeaway. It's a tense time globally, and these conversations are crucial. They aren't just about war or politics, they're about challenging the entire system that perpetuates these cycles.
Exactly, and while the rhetoric can be hyperbolic at times, the underlying issues are very real. Our responsibility as informed listeners is to engage critically and, well, keep pushing for accountability.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up, the essence here seems to be a call for deeper investigation, beyond sensational headlines, into how military decisions and systemic inequities shape our world.
Right on. It's an invitation to question the narratives we're fed and to seek out a more balanced understanding of these complex issues, always remembering that behind every headline there's a lot more at stake.
Exactly. Thanks for this engaging chat. It really clarifies a lot about the ongoing issues and the channels through which we explore them.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay curious and keep questioning.